The world is a place where happiness exists, but it's essential to remember that not everyone experiences happiness. Life has two sides, like a coin. In addition to good people, there are also bad individuals in society, from murderers to burglars and all sorts of criminals. They hide in the shadows. When they're apprehended, their true craziness comes to light. Some stay composed while others become aggressive. Today, we're here to explore some of the most unbelievable interrogation moments ever recorded. Let's dive into the captivating journey together. Number 1, Russell Jones. Russell Jones's interrogation is undoubtedly one of the craziest and weirdest interrogations on this list. But before we dive into the sick mindset of this young man, let's get a quick synopsis of his case. It all began October 2nd, 2017, when the Medford Police Department responded to a welfare check at a home on Benson Street. Upon arrival, officers found disturbing evidence of a crime and noticed the owner and their car were missing. The search led them to the 100 block of Mariposa Terrace, where they discovered the victim's car and the body of 50-year-old Aaron Fryer. As the investigation unfolded, 3 suspects emerged: 19-year-old Gavin Curtis McFarland, 22-year-old Russell Pierce Jones II, and Aaron's 15-year-old daughter, Ellen Fryer. The police suspected a conspiracy behind Aaron's murder. The shocking truth emerged that McFarland had brutally murdered Aaron in his sleep using a baseball bat and then fled the scene with a stolen car. All 3 suspects were arrested. McFarland was sentenced to life in prison, Ellen Fryer was sentenced to 25 years, and our main star, Russell Jones II, was sentenced to 15 years behind bars. Now comes the craziest part of the interrogation of Russell Jones, the accomplice in the murder and burglary. During his interrogation, Russell showed zero remorse. Instead, he showed the exact opposite. He not only mocked the cops and the judge, he even dared to mock the victim. He made jokes about cops, swore at them, and acted all high and superior, like something he did was meant to be praised. He knew that the whole interrogation was being recorded, but he didn't even try to act like he was innocent. Russell acted like he was untouchable, making jokes and hurling insults at the police officers, and didn't even bother pretending to be innocent. He took a big, bold step and suggested making a deal with the investigators, as if he held all the cards. And if that wasn't enough, he even threatened to bring up his bipolar disorder to manipulate the situation. His erratic behavior left everyone bewildered. No one could predict what he'd do next. Russell's laughter and mockery made it hard to decipher his true intentions. Was it all part of a manipulative ploy, or did he genuinely believe he could outsmart everyone? The tension in the interrogation room was palpable, but the investigators held their ground. Next on our list, Zachary Davis. Zachary Davis, the teenager whose shocking crime in 2012 left the world in disbelief. At just 15 years old, he committed a heinous act, being convicted of first-degree murder for killing his own mother. The consequences were severe, and he received a life imprisonment sentence. In a terrible act of violence, Zachary attacked his mother while she slept, using a sledgehammer to repeatedly strike her head until she was deceased. He then attempted to set the house on fire, with the intention of harming his brother Josh as well. Thankfully, Josh managed to escape the dangerous situation. The chilling details of the crime emerged during police interrogations and an interview with the well-known personality Dr. Phil. Zachary shockingly revealed that his motivation for the murder was perceived lack of care for their family from his mother. This was particularly disturbing because his mother, Melanie Davis, had single-handedly raised both her sons after her husband's death 6 years earlier. Throughout the investigation, Zachary showed no remorse for his actions, remaining calm and emotionless while discussing the horrific events. He even seemed to find humor in the situation, which left the officers uncomfortable and disturbed. His confession included a disturbing demonstration of how he carried out the brutal murder. During his interview with Dr. Phil, Zachary recounted the murder in chilling detail, even laughing as he described the sounds of the sledgehammer striking his mother's head. His lack of remorse and the callousness with which he spoke about the crime made this case one of the most unsettling and monstrous in history. Ultimately, Zachary showed no regrets for his actions, expressing only remorse for not having harmed his brother as well. This tragic event serves as a haunting reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the importance of understanding and addressing the factors that can lead to such horrifying acts. Number 3, Michael Bever. The case we'll discuss now is absolutely one of the most horrifying cases on our list. It's about 2 teenage brothers, 19-year-old Robert Bever and 17-year-old Michael Bever. This duo did the unthinkable by killing their entire family, both parents, two of their younger brothers, and a 5-year-old sister by stabbing them all to death. Robert was the mastermind behind the plot and started his gruesome massacre from their house that he'd planned for quite some time with his younger brother Michael. The only survivor of that bloody night was their 13-year-old sister, who was first attacked but survived with her 2-year-old unharmed sister. The more the case is spine-chilling, the more horrifying the interrogation is. The brothers were laughing with zero remorse when cops arrested them after the call from help from David Bever, the younger brother of the duo, who was later killed from suffering 28 stab wounds. There is no interrogation footage of Robert, but we hear some horrifying details of the crime from Robert's interrogation. According to Michael, Robert was the one who plotted all of that. He wanted to kill at least 50 people. He said they'd been buying protective gear, knives, and machetes from eBay for a long time, which meant the boys were prepared for that day. The main reason for killing their parents was that the guns and ammunition that they ordered came to their house safely without their parents noticing, so they had to die. The main reason for killing their parents was that the guns and ammunition they ordered could come to their house safely without their parents noticing, so they had to die. They planned to butcher their parents, hide them in bins, and get on with the next stage of the plan to kill more people, but this time with heavy guns. Luckily, that didn't happen, and they were arrested after the terror they inflicted upon their family. Michael gave all these details to his investigators. Still, during all his talks, he did his best to act innocent and said that he wanted to be on his brother's good side so he wouldn't harm him. Still, at the same time, he even told the investigators how he lured his younger siblings out of the locked room by pretending to be on their side, and when the minors who couldn't defend themselves opened the door, they were murdered by their loved ones. The police were not fooled by Michael's persona of innocence. They called him just as equal to his brother in killing his entire family. Michael then finally confessed how he was the one to slit the throat of his sister, Crystal Bever, mother April Bever, and Chris Bever. Once Michael confessed to that, things became even crazier. In conclusion, he finally revealed that there was nothing personal. They only killed him and were planning to kill more to get famous. Robert Bever allegedly intended to make 2 videos of the murders, one showing the bodies to give the authorities and one without the bodies to be posted online. The brothers tried to declare themselves insane, but their statement was rejected, and both were given 5 life sentences without parole. Number 4, Thomas Robinson. Thomas Robinson, accused of shooting the 17-year-old Joseph Reno Armstrong Jr., was arrested and brought into custody for interrogation. During the interrogation, Thomas did one of the craziest things. When an officer was changing his handcuffs, he glanced at the officer's gun in the holster. Thomas takes his chance, gets his hands on the weapon, and struggles to get it out of the holster. The officer wrestles with Thomas until other officers enter the room to restrain him. When the officers were restraining the suspect, Thomas yelled, "Kill me," 6 times while still trying to get a hold of the gun. The fight for the gun ended when an officer finally shot Robinson with a stun gun. And finally, the last on our list is Cynthia Sidabaka. Cynthia Sidabaka, aka the Killer Grandma, is a 63-year-old woman who killed her son-in-law for being abusive toward her daughter and granddaughter. Aside from that, Jawar Estachio, her son-in-law, was a strict person and didn't like Cynthia to smoke cigarettes in front of his children, so he often hosed her down with water whenever he saw her smoking in the yard. That infuriated Cynthia, leading her to kill Jawar by gunning him down. To end the life of the abusive son-in-law, Cynthia even went to the firing range 3 weeks before killing him. During the trial, Laura, Cynthia's daughter, claimed that her husband abused her and the children, but still killing was not an option. Aside from that, they should have filed a report against him instead of taking matters into their own hands. During Cynthia's interrogation, she was overjoyed after hearing about the death of her son-in-law, said that she'd do it again if needed. The grandma laughed at his death, showing her hatred towards him, and was proud that she could free her daughter and grandchildren from their abusive father. But her granddaughter refused to hug her grandma, telling her that she killed her father, which was a fair statement. Her actions are not justifiable. Cynthia shot the 53-year-old Jawar 15 times, ensuring his death. She showed no remorse during her interrogation and danced joyfully. She even thanked the police officers for telling her that he had passed away. Truly terrifying to see how someone can hate someone so much. So guys, that's the end of today's video. We hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, consider pressing the like and subscribe button. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.